ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिसुदेशिकेन्द्रं द्वैपायनं सूत्रकृतं मुनीन्द्रं श्रीशङ्करं भाष्यकृतं यतीन्द्रं मद्देशिकञ्चापि नमामि विद्यै। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्तो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। We'll chant the Gita Dhyana Slokas. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambattvamanusanddhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshini Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayatapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayah Pradipah Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadrata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwattama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirnah Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartakah Keshavah Parasharya Vachas Sarojamamalam Gitartha Gantotkatam Nanakyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadai Raharahe Pepiyamanam Mudha Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pragvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Rudra Marutha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sanga Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Okay, we are seeing in the Gita Dhyana Slokas. The Gita Dhyana Slokas, as I said, is an introduction, serve as an introduction to the Mahabharata itself and in particular to Bhagavad Gita also. And Swami Madhusudana Saraswati had come up with this Gita Dhyana Slokas in one of his commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. There are a total of 9 verses there, and it has got namaskarams for 4 people there. 4 things or four namaskaras. The first namaskara is the namaskara to Mahabharata itself, which is in the verse number 7, which we saw in the last class. We saw Parasharya Vachasaroja Mamalam Gitartha Gantotkatam Nana Kyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadai Raharahai Pepiya Manam Mudha Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pragvamsina Shreyase. So where the Mahabharata was compared to a lotus and the Bhagavad Gita itself was compared to the fragrance that is coming out of the lotus, And the Sajjana, the Loke Sajjana Shatpadai. So the people, the good people, the noble people are compared to the bees. Shatpadai being the six-legged bees. And they say that they will go and take the nectar out of this flower. That was the first Namaskara to Mahabharata itself. Then we saw Namaskara to Gita. That was starting from the first sloka. First sloka was a Namaskara to Gita. Partaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamrita varshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvam anusandadhami bhagavat gite bhavat veshinim. So where Bhagavad Gita is compared to a mother, Amba or mother, and that Namaskara involves where it is the Bhagavad Gita's importance is highlighted by saying that it is coming in the middle of Mahabharata. It consists of 18 chapters and it contains the wisdom of Advaita. And not only that, it is divine Bhagavatim because it was taught by Narayanena Swayam, by Bhagavan Narayana himself to Arjuna, Parthaya Pratibodhitam. And it was compiled by Vyasacharya, Vyasena Purana Munina. So that was the Namaskaram to Gita. The Gita was compared to the mother there. Then there is one more Gita Namaskara within this Dhyana Slokas, which is the verse number 4. The verse number 4 says, Sarvopanishado Ghavo Dogda Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. So we'll see this now. So here in this verse, Gita is, the Upanishads is compared to the cows. So in this, the Upanishads are Sarvopanishado Ghavo Dogda Gopala Nandanaha. The Upanishads are compared to the cows, and Krishna is the cowherd boy who milks these cows, and Arjuna is compared to the calf, and the milk that comes out of it is compared to the nectar, and that is the Gita. So what is Bhagavad Gita? Here Madhusudana Saraswati says Gita is not the philosophy of Krishna. It is not that this philosophy was given by Bhagavan Krishna. Gita is not the philosophy of even Vyasa. Vyasa did not come up with this Gita. Krishna did not come up with this Gita. What is this Gita then? It is the teaching which is contained in the Vedas. So Vedas are the original scriptures which have been existing in our culture from beginningless time. We say Anadi. It doesn't have a beginning. Vedas doesn't have a beginning. And within the Vedas, there is a beginning portion and the end portion, or the first portion and the last portion. The last portion is called as Vedanta or Upanishads. And these Upanishads give us the self-knowledge. The beginning portion of the Vedas, we saw in last two classes before, the beginning portion consists of Dharma, Adharma, Viveka. And then in the end portion, it talks about the philosophy of life, Nitya, Anitya, Viveka. So here Madhusudana Saraswati says Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishads, the essence of Vedanta. So to convey that, he gives an analogy. He says the Vedas, especially the Upanishadic portion, he compares them to a cow or cows. And therefore he says Sarvopanishado Gavo. The entire Upanishads is summarized as treated as cows. And what are the Upanishads? Upanishads are among all the Vedas. There are Upanishads that belong to Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, then belonging to Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda. The final portion of these Vedas are where the Upanishads can be found. And those Upanishads are compared to the cows. And what does Krishna do? Krishna, anyway, we know, is a cowherd boy. He knows how to handle cows. He is an expert in handling cows. So here he also handles the Upanishadic cows. And what does he do? He milks the Upanishadic cows. He has milked the Upanishadic cows, which means extracted the essence from the Upanishads. And that milk is Bhagavad Gita. Gopala Nandanaha. Gopala Nandanaha means Krishna. Gopala Nandanaha. Gopalaha. Gopalaha means one who protects the cows or one who tends the cows. Cowherd. Gopala Nandanaha, or the boy who is a cowherd. And here milking is symbolic. The Upanishadic essence has been extracted by him. And normally when the cow has to be milked, the cowherd will actually keep the calf in front of the cow itself. Otherwise the cows will not release the milk. When the calf is seen, the cow, out of compassion and out of love, gives out the milk. So for the Upanishadic cow to give the milk, who is the calf? The calf is Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. Partho Vatsaha. So Vatsaha means calf. Partha is the calf. Partha means Arjuna. So keeping Arjuna in front, Krishna milked the Upanishadic cow, and out of the milk came the milk of wisdom. Now who can enjoy this milk? The next word says Sudhihi Bhokta. Sudhir Bhokta or Sudhihi Bhokta. Sudhihi means the pure-minded person. The pure-minded one. Bhokta means enjoyer. The pure-minded one is the enjoyer. So only the pure-minded person can enjoy this milk. So for us to be able to appreciate the Gita wisdom, we will have to cleanse our mind. And what is this milk of wisdom? He says Gita Amritam. Gita Amritam. This nectar of Bhagavad Gita. Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. The teaching of Bhagavad Gita is the milk, and the milk is Mahat. It's the Amritam, it's nectar, and it is Mahat. Mahat means great, it is glorious. So one of the things we have to understand is this Bhagavad Gita is completely aligned with the Vedas. And Adi Shankara, when he has given the commentary for Bhagavad Gita also, he has aligned the commentary with the principles of the Vedas, along the principles of Vedas. Shankaracharya never gave any meaning which go against the principles expounded by the Vedas. There is no separation, there is no a separate meaning of Bhagavad Gita and a separate meaning of Vedas. Nobody can say Vedas say differently, Bhagavad Gita says differently. Generally, any word can be interpreted in any manner or many manners. So unless we know the context, we will not be able to understand. And that's the reason why we have so many misunderstandings among people itself. And we call them as communication gaps. Same manner, Gita should be interpreted only after knowing the context and the principle behind the teaching. And therefore, so unless we understand what is the context behind why Krishna said that and the principle behind it, whenever Shankara gives some quotations, or he will always quote Gita commentary with quotations from Vedas to say why Bhagavan had said that in that manner. And therefore also it is important that we learn Gita through this parampara teaching. We say Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So we'll have to learn this Gita through this traditional method of teaching. It is not advisable to self-learn through a book or to go to any author. Especially Western authors have also come up with their own understanding of Gita. Or people who are not within this parampara may have also, because it's available anyway. Anybody can interpret it in any manner. So that can all lead to misunderstandings. So it is advisable to listen from a guru who had learnt it through the parampara. So this is what Madhusudana Saraswati says, that this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishads. And he actually gives a Gita Namaskara. He worships Gita because it is the essence of Upanishads. Although it has been given by Krishna, the content is from the Vedas. So this is the second Gita Namaskara. So we have finished the Mahabharata Namaskara, Gita Namaskara. Then we will go to Vyasa Namaskara. So there is one verse that praises Vyasa. So we will look into that particular verse. So this is verse number 2. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vinda Yatapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayah Pradipah. So here Madhusudana Saraswati is doing Namaskara to Vyasa Bhagavan, Vyasacharya. This entire sloka is dedicated to Vyasa. We know Vyasa wrote the Bhagavad Gita, which is part of Mahabharata. Namo Stute, Namaha Astute. Namaha means salutations or namaskarams. Astu means be, let it be. Te, to you. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Vyasa is being given an adjective, Vishala Buddhe. Actually, the word Vyasa itself means the one who has divided the Vedas into 4. So as you know, initially the Vedas were only one. Then Vyasacharya came and then divided the single Vedas into 4 parts. And he called them Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana. And he basically assigned one Rishi to actually propagate that through that. Because initially when in the original olden days, people had to learn the entire Vedas. But then people did not have the time or the mental capacity to understand, assimilate, memorize all the 4 Vedas. So Vyasa knew that it would not be possible. So for one person to do it, so he split the Vedas into 4. So that's why he's called as Vyasa. Vyasa means divider. It also means divider and expander. Vyasa, expander, because he has also expanded our scriptures. He has written 18 Puranas. 18 Puranas, most of them were written by Vyasa. So, he therefore is called as Vyasa. Vyasan Vedan iti Vyasa. And expanded through Puranas. So, he has done the division of Vedas and he has also expanded. Therefore, he is called as Vyasa. But what was the original name of Vyasa? The original name of Vyasa was Krishna. He is also Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna is also Krishna. He is also Krishna. And why both of them are called Krishna? Because both of them were dark complexion. dark complexion. Krishna means dark. We have even with the moon phases, right? Shukla Paksham and Krishna Paksham. Krishna Paksham is when the moon goes from full moon to new moon. So from brightness to darkness. So it's called as Krishna Paksham. So Krishna means dark. In fact, Draupadi was also called Krishna. It seems she was also dark. So how now Krishna, how to differentiate between Bhagavan Krishna and Vyasa? So Vyasa was also called as Krishna Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana means island born. Dvaipayana. So he is called island born Krishna. So Krishna, when sometimes Vyasa is also called as in our Puranas Krishna Dvaipayana. So we know that it is actually Vyasa. So he says Vyasa, and how great is this Vyasa? Madhusudana Saraswati says Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Vishala Buddhe. You are an Acharya of erudition, great erudition, whose knowledge is vast, is very great in terms of its vastness. Vishala Buddhe. You are great in terms of your vastness. You are great in terms of the clarity, and as well as in terms of the depth. So Vyasa has a broad understanding of all the concepts, and as also can go deep into any of these concepts. There we meet people who knows various subjects but very little. So we say jack of all trades. And then there are also some specialists who knows only one subject but they know deep in them. But Vyasa had all the three. The vastness, the breadth of his knowledge, and the depth. In all the knowledge he could go to the depth. He could go do it. He can really dig deep, as well as in terms of clarity. So Vishala Buddhe, one whose knowledge is very great. Because once we read Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, we'll be able to appreciate how deep and vast was Vyasa's knowledge in terms of everything that he has conveyed there. And then now Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Now Madhusudana Saraswati next turns into a poet, and he describes Vyasacharya's eyes. And what sort of eyes does Vyasacharya have? He says, Pullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra. Pulla means fully bloomed. Aravinda means lotus. Pullara Vindaya Ayata Patra. Ayata means long. Patra is leaves, generally leaves, but here we can say petals. Netra means eyes. Pullara Vindaya Pulla Aravinda Ayata Patra Netra. So Vyasa is described as who had beautiful eyes, like the petals of a fully bloomed lotus. Pullara Vinda, fully bloomed lotus. So one whose eyes were beautiful like the petals of a fully bloomed lotus. Madhusudana Saraswati is glorifying Vyasa. Because generally Vyasa, according to our history, Vyasa is supposed to be ugly looking. But here he is praising the beauty of his wisdom. He is considering these eyes to be the eye of wisdom. And that was beautiful. That's what Madhusudana Saraswati conveys. And what did this Vyasacharya do? He says, Madhusudana Saraswati, you are so great. You have lighted this lamp of wisdom. This knowledge has been kindled by you. You have lighted the lamp. And for this lighting the lamp, what was the oil he used? Madhusudan Saraswati says, you had used Mahabharata as the oil. Yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha. Yena tvaya. Yena tvaya means you. Tvaya, you. Bharata taila purnaha. The oil. Tailam. Tailam we say oil. Bharata as taila. With the oil of Mahabharata, Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. Pradipaha means lamp. Deepaha, we know, lamp. Pra means good, not something which is not bad. So good lamp. You have lighted the very good lamp. What kind of lamp is that? Jnanamaya. Jnanamaya means wisdom. You have lighted the lamp of wisdom. So with the oil of Mahabharata, with the help of Mahabharata story, you have lighted the lamp of wisdom. And therefore, I offer a Namaskara, because with that lamp of wisdom, I can remove my ignorance. I can remove my ignorance from my intellect, from my gloomy intellect. So this is Vyasa Namaskara. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra Yenatvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. So we have seen so far 4 Namaskaras. 1 to Mahabharata, 2 to Gita, 1 to Vyasa. Now the total 9 verses we saw. So 4 verses are gone. The remaining 5 verses all happen to be Bhagavan Krishna Namaskara. So all these 5 verses now are dedicated to Bhagavan Krishna. So we'll see one by one. First one is verse number 3. Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye jnana mudraya krishnaya gita mritaduhe namaha. So Krishnaya Namaha. Our Namaskarams to Bhagavan Krishna. And what sort of Krishna is this? So a description is given. Prapanna Parijataya. Parijata. Parijatam you would have heard. Parijata is actually a tree in the heavens, they say, which is supposed to give whatever we ask for. That is the uniqueness of the tree. If we sit under the tree and desire for anything, by that mere wish, the tree will provide whatever we ask for. That is called as Parijata. So this tree is called as wish yielding tree. We don't have it in our Bhuloka, so we need not search for it. So there is this wish yielding tree, Parijata, in the heavens, they say. And Bhagavan Krishna is compared to this Parijata Vriksha, which means by praying to Bhagavan, we can get anything. Whether it is Dharma, whether it is Artha, whether it is Kama or Moksha. Whatever we pray, we will get from Bhagavan. Okay, then we'll ask, okay, I have been praying for so long, why am I not getting what I want from Bhagavan? So there is one condition. So that condition is also given here. He says, what is that condition? Prapanna. Prapanna parijataya. Prapanne. Prapanna means one who surrenders unto him. You say prapatti. Prapanna means surrendering. We see the second chapter also. In second chapter of Gita also, Prapanna will come. We will see more about what is that surrender, what is the surrender about, who can surrender, when can one surrender, how can one surrender when we discuss second chapter. But generally we can say, right now for this Dhyana Slokas we can say, what is surrender? Surrender means complete surrender, which means complete and undoubtful trust. Without any doubt, I should trust Bhagavan. Suppose if we say we surrender, and then if we still claim that we are in sorrow and that I am not able to change things around, then that surrender is not complete. Complete trust is called surrender. Suppose I still have anxiety about my future, that means I have not surrendered to Bhagavan. Because where there is complete trust, will there be fear? Of course not. There cannot be any fear. Will there be any sorrow? Of course not. There cannot be any sorrow. So if our devotion, if we say that we are surrendered, and if we still have our devotion mixed with sorrow and fear, then of course we cannot claim that we have surrendered. So surrendering means complete surrender. I do not have any sorrow. I do not have any fear. I know Bhagavan will take care of me. Only for that person, Bhagavan acts as Parijata. So Bhagavan gives whatever they want for a person who has completely surrendered. And what needs to be surrendered? The important thing that needs to be surrendered here is the ego. The ego, surrendering the ego is very difficult. So only for that person who has surrendered the ego, Bhagavan acts as Parijata. Further he says, Madhusudan Saraswati says, Totra Vetraika Panaye. Totra Vetraika Panaye. In the war, we know that Bhagavan was the charioteer of Arjuna. He was the Partha Sarathi. He was the Sarathi. He was the driver. And he was holding a whip to drive the chariot. Totra Vetram means the handle of the whip. The handle of the whip. Totra means whip. The Vetra means the handle of the whip. Totra Vetra Eka Panaye. Eka Panaye. Totra Vetraika Panaye. Eka Panaye means he is holding it in one hand. Pani means hand. He is holding in one hand to drive the chariot. Eka Pani means one hand. So Totra Vetraika Panaye, the one who is holding this whip, in handle of the whip in one hand. So here we have to understand, see, although he is Bhagavan, he is by himself, he is a king. Not only he is Ishvara of this universe, but here at least within Mahabharata he is already a king. But even for that person, he does not consider any job as below his dignity. He was willing to be a charioteer for Arjuna. He didn't feel that it is below his dignity to ride a chariot for Arjuna. How many people would step down to take a job which is lower than what they think that it is according to their status? So again, the message here is, whatever profession we do, we have to do it with pride, and never look down upon any profession. May we maintain that dignity of labor. Whatever we undertake, let us do it with pride, and let us not look down upon anybody who is doing a lowly job, supposedly lowly job. And Bhagavan did not feel inferior. He did not feel that I am only a driver of Arjuna. Why should I be a driver of Arjuna? I am actually a king. Somebody else should be riding my chariot. He was tending to horses. In story it will come. In between the war, every evening Krishna will take care of the horses. He will ensure that the horses are well fed, rested, washed, and all those things. He was doing his duty properly. So doing the action with full commitment, with full pride, with full enthusiasm. That is what we learn from Bhagavan here. So this is Totra Vetraika Panaye. Now, because he was just a charioteer, was he just a charioteer? No, he was the greatest Jnani. He was the greatest Guru. And therefore, Madhusudana Saraswati says, Totra Vetreka Paniye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya. So one hand he had this whip. The other hand, he was having Jnana Mudra or the Chin Mudra. The Chin Mudra is a symbolic representation. The Chin Mudra is like this. It is a symbolic philosophical teaching. It represents this finger, the index finger, is considered to be Jivatma. This is the Jivatma. This has got a limited entity. It has got a beginning. It has got an end. So this person is the mortal samsari, Jivatma. Then this, and in Samskrita we call this as Tarjani. This finger is called as Tarjani. Tarjani means, Tarjani is normally used as threatening. I will take care of you. I will see you. So that is called as Tarjani. So this finger is normally threatening. So that is called as Tarjani. This Jivatma is actually a threat to the individual himself, but also to the society also, unless he understands who he really is. So this Jivatma is normally associated with these three fingers, the remaining three fingers, and the thumb is a distance. It is at a distance. So these three fingers are close to the Jivatma, and these three fingers, what do they represent? These three fingers represents the three gunas: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas we would have studied in Introduction to Vedanta. So Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. We can also say Sukshma Shariram, Stula Shariram and Karana Shariram. We also know that. So those three Shariras. If you are forgotten already, we'll again go through Bhagavad Gita, the same thing, concepts again later on. So Stula, Sukshma, Karana or Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So it's always associated with the Jivatma. So this Jivatma will have to separate out of these three gunas or separate out of these three bodies and then merge with the Paramatma. This thumb is the Paramatma. And the thumb is the Adhara. The thumb is the support of the entire creation. Or the Paramatma is the support of the entire creation. Just like that, without the thumb, it is very difficult to do any action. So it is difficult to do without this thumb. The thumb is very important. The same way, the Jivatma has to merge with the Paramatma. So Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam takes place. Now what happens when the Aikyam takes place? It becomes a circle. There is no beginning, there is no end. So the mortal Jivatma becomes the immortal Paramatma. And this Apurna Jivatma becomes Purnaha. It's complete. And that is the whole spiritual sadhana. To detach ourselves from these three bodies, to detach ourselves from these three gunas, and to become one with the Paramatma. And that is what the Chin Mudra represents. And this Purnaha, that's what we call in the end also, we say Shanti Pata Mantra, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So this Purnaha. So this Chin Mudra is Bhagavan has this Chin Mudra in one hand. So this detachment and attachment, signifying that one has to detach oneself from the material world and connect to the spiritual being. Detach from Anatma and attached with Paramatma. That will give us immortality. That will give us the Jnanam. Aham Brahmasmi, that Jnanam. And this wisdom of immortality, Bhagavan Krishna is symbolically representing through his Jnana Mudra or Chin Mudra. So on one hand, while he is still doing his duty as a charioteer, he has this Chin Mudra in the other hand, signifying that he is the greatest Jnani. So on one hand, he is doing karma while being a Jnani. And that Bhagavan is like a Parijata Vriksha. He will give us whatever we want as long as we surrender unto him. Prapanna Parijata. So to that powerful Bhagavan, Namostute, I am actually offering my Namaskara. So this Bhagavan, that's why Krishna is very popular, because he has been the greatest Karmi and the greatest Jnani. And what does this Bhagavan do? Krishna does Gita Mrita Duhe. He has milked the nectar of Gita. To that Krishna, I offer my Namaskara. So this is the first of the verses where we offer Namaskara to Bhagavan Krishna. Moving on, verse number 5. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So this verse is also Krishna Namaskara. Krishnam Vande. Again, I offer Namaskara to Krishna. And what is the greatest of this Bhagavan? What is great about this Krishna Bhagavan? This Krishna Bhagavan, he, as a member of his family, he was great. As a member of the society, he was great. And as a citizen of this world, also he was great. Krishna is great. And all these three levels are actually described here. We will see the first one. Vasudeva Sutam Devam. So Krishna is the son of Vasudeva. We know that. Vasudeva Sutam. And he was Devaki Paramanandam. He was a great source of joy to Devaki. Devaki, his mother, he was a great source of joy. So as a member of family, Bhagavan Krishna gave joy to his family members. Vasudeva was proud to say that Krishna was his son, and Devaki was proud that Krishna was her son. So Devaki Paramanandam. So this is the first one. We should give happiness to our family members. And then once we give happiness to our family members, we'll have to expand it to our community. And then once we expand it to our community, we'll have to give happiness to our next generation also. So some people take care of the family but do not take care of the society. That is wrong. Some people take care of the society but do not take care of the family. That is also wrong. So one has duty both to the family as well as to the society. To the contemporary society first, and then if possible to the posterity also. So Krishna fulfilled the first thing. He fulfilled all the three. The first one we saw is Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam. The second one is Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam. That is what he did to the society. He destroyed the Asuras who were a threat to the peace and harmony of the society. The Asuras who were the embodiments of Adharma. Kamsa, Chanura, and he killed them. Mardhanam. And he saved the society from these Asuras. And he established Dharma. That's why we also have in Gita also in the 4th chapter, 8th sloka, we have Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya cha Dushkritam Dharma Samstapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So Bhagavan says that whenever Adharma is trying to rise, he will come and establish Dharma. So that is what Krishna did to the contemporary society there. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. Now, how did he contribute to the posterity? What did he do to the next generations? Krishna's contribution is through Bhagavad Gita. Jagat Gurum Krishnam. He taught the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and through Arjuna, he has given the wisdom to not only the contemporary humanity then, he has also given that knowledge for future generations as well. This Mahabharata war, some people say that it was supposed to have taken place between 3100 BC, around 3100 BC. So now it's about more than about 5,200 years, 5,100 years. So even now, Bhagavad Gita is fresh and alive. It's still relevant. It's still read widely. It is still capable of giving students the thing that they are looking for, which is peace, security, and happiness. So whatever Krishna had given then, it is still available, and therefore is a Jagat Gurum. He was a Jagat Guru. So to that wonderful Bhagavan Krishna, I offer my Namaskara. One who has fulfilled all three things that is needed from a person. One who has contributed to the family, one who has contributed to the society, and one who has contributed to the next generation also. So thus 2 verses on Krishna is over. We will see the next verse on Krishna, which is verse number 6. Here we say, it's a long verse. Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadrata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripe Navahani Karnena Vela Kula Ashwattama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavairananadi Kaivartakah Keshavah. So this is a beautiful verse, because here this Mahabharata war is compared to a kind of a treacherous river, a dangerous river. It is an analogy. Mahabharata war is compared to a treacherous river, and this river has got many dangers lurking. There are dangers in this river, and then the Pandavas will have to cross this river. And to cross this river and to save themselves was their biggest problem, biggest crisis, and biggest challenge in their entire life. And here, who comes to their help? To cross a river, you need a very experienced boatman. And who is this boatman? Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. So in the 4th line we could see we have an expression Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. Kaivartakaha means boatman. So the one who knows to ride a boat, the steering a boat. So even in the most difficult situation, in the most treacherous river, in the most volatile river, this Bhagavan can ride this boat. For the Pandavas, there was this Mahabharata war which was most challenging. And for us, we have our own challenges in our life. Some of them trivial, some of them big. And on a daily basis, we have many challenges in our life. Some of them are really dangerous, challenging situations as well. And a person who is caught up in this situation is called as Artha Purushaha. Artha Purushaha. Artha here means helpless. One who is helpless. One who is in a soup. One who is cornered, we can say. and we do not know how to get out of the situation. Many a times we feel that we are helpless, and seems like all doors are closed. And that's what Pandavas faced then. They faced that they had to face this Mahabharata war in this crucial moment, and they didn't know how to handle this. And Bhagavan Krishna became their savior. The savior. And here, what is that? Mahabharata is considered Rana Nadi. Sa Rana Nadi. Rana Nadi. That Rana Nadi means river. Rana means battle. Nadi means river. That battle river. Sa Ravana Nadi. Uttirna. Uttirna means to be crossed over, was crossed over. Uttirna. Who crossed over? Pandava. Pandavai. Pandavai by the Pandavas. How did they cross? Keshavaha Kaivartaha. Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. The ferryman was Bhagavan Krishna. So the dangerous, treacherous river was crossed by the Pandavas with the help of Bhagavan, who acted as the boatman. Now, what is the danger that Pandavas faced is described in this sloka, in this verse, and what are the dangers involved that the war is described here. The key thing is, if we deeply study this epic, this Mahabharata, and if we are properly reflecting on the story, one thing for sure is we will get enormous conviction on dharma. Dharma is very essential, and we will get that conviction. We will understand that whatever be the number of people, however be the number of people who are against us, it doesn't matter. If dharma is on our side, victory will certainly be ours. Or, in other words, if we have Ishvara Anugraha, then we can overcome anything. Having the grace of Bhagavan is very important in our life, and we'll have to do whatever it takes to get the grace of Bhagavan. We'll have to become ourselves capable of getting this grace. We'll have to become a patra. We have to make sure that we are eligible for that. So whatever it takes, we'll have to make ourselves eligible for that. Then we can overcome anything. So here we'll see the dangers. What are the dangers that here the author says? He says, first of all, what are the two shores? The two shores of this river is Bhishma Drona Tata. The Mahabharata is, if it is compared to that river, Bhishma and Drona were the banks. So the banks normally determine the direction of the war or the river, this war river, how it goes, which direction it goes. The banks determine that. So these two powerful warriors can decide the course of the war. So that is the first challenge that the Pandavas had to face. Or in fact, two challenges, Bhishma and Drona. Then what is the next problem? Jayadrata Jala. The waters of the river were compared to Jayadrata, the Sindhu Raja, the Raja of Sindhu Desha, the king of Sindhu Desha. He was on the side of Kauravas, and he was also an extremely powerful person. And just like the river, whose depth cannot be fathomed, we cannot understand the depth unless we go to the center of the river. It's very difficult to even measure the depth. So the waters, Jayadratha had that much depth. The Pandavas had to face him. So that's crisis number 3 for the Pandavas. That is a danger. Then further, Gandhara Nilotpala. Gandhara, the prince of Gandhara. The prince of Gandhara Shubala. Shubala was the prince of Gandhara, the king of Gandhara. Prince was Shakuni. So both Shubala and Shakuni. We know Shakuni is actually the brother of Gandhari, who was princess of Gandhara. So this Gandhari's brother and father were also another danger for the Pandavas. And especially the brother Shakuni, he is compared to Nilotpala. Nilotpala means the blue lily in the waters. So the water has got these lilies, which is very attractive, but once we go near them, there is slush and we get trapped. So similarly, Shakuni is very deceptive. From the outside, you will not know that he is actually deceptive. Well, once you go near him, we will get trapped. So like the blue lily in the waters. So Gandhara Nilotpala. The next one is Shalya Grahavati. Shalya is another king of who was participating in the Mahabharata war. As I said, this Mahabharata war is almost like a world war in those days. All the kings were involved in that, not just the Pandavas and Kauravas. So Shalya was a king of Madra Desha. Madri, we know that, who is the wife of Pandu, Kunti and Madri. So this Shalya was the king of Madra Desha. He was another powerful person, but he joined the Kauravas. So he was on the side of Kauravas, Shalya. And he was like Grahavati. Graha means something like a shark. So Shalya is like a shark in the river. So that is another danger. Shalya Grahavati. And then Kripena Vahani. Kripacharya, we know he is the guru of Pandavas and Kauravas before Drona came. Kripacharya, great archer. So he is such a powerful archer as well. And again, he was on the other side, not on the side of Pandavas. And he is like Vahani. Vahani means the undercurrent. The water has got the current which we will not be able to see from the top, but there will be a strong undercurrent. Superficially, it will look calm, but once we go there, it just drags us. So Kripa was like the powerful current. Kripena Vahani. Then Karnena Vela Kula. Then Karna was there. Karna was the like turbulent waves. Vela means waves. Akula means turbulent. Turbulent waves. Not turbulent, noisy. This tossing waves, like the tornado like waves, this high waves. So Karna was powerful like that wave. Then not only that, still not over. Ashwattama Vikarna Ghora Makara. Makara means there are type of a crocodile. Flesh eating, man eating, whatever comes to the way, they are very, very aggressive. Makara is a type of crocodile. And who are they? Ashwattama. Ashwattama, we know, son of Dronacharya. Ashwattama. Then Vikarna. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana. He is also another son of Dhritarashtra, the one who actually spoke slightly in favor of Pandavas in the game of dice. He is a slightly tilted to the dharmic side, but because he was brother of Duryodhana, he had to fight against the Pandavas. And they are like Ashwattama, Vikarna, they are like Ghora Makara, deadly crocodiles. They were like. And then finally, who is that? Duryodhana. Duryodhana Vartini. Avartini means whirlpool. Swirl, we say in Tamil. That cyclic fashion, how it actually goes there, that whirlpool. So if we get caught, we will be sucked inside. So Duryodhana is like that whirlpool. All belong to where? Mahabharata Rananadi. This is what the dangers that the Pandavas had to face. And they had only a feeble catamaran. They didn't have too much of strength to cross. Remember, in Mahabharata, Kauravas had 11 Akshauganis. and Pandavas had only 7 Akshaugunis. In terms of numerical strength, the Kauravas were vastly superior. In terms of people, the great people on their side, in terms of archery, bravery and victories, Kauravas had a great pedigree. And Pandavas did not have that much of strength. So they had a feeble catamaran like, and they have to cross this river. And we know that they crossed, and it was impossible, and still they made it. And how was it possible? Because of the skillful boatman. Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. Kalu Uttirna Pandavaihi. Kalu means it was indeed crossed over by the Pandavas. How? Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. Because of Bhagavan Krishna. This is the Namaskara to Krishna again. If we give another 5-10 minutes, we will finish the remaining 2 verses also. Is everybody okay with that?
Okay.
So next verse is verse number 8. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. So here Ishvara Anugraha is praised. I told you the grace of Ishvara is important. And here the author says only due to this Ishvara Anugraha this everything is happening. Without Ishvara Kripa, without Ishvara Anugraha, nothing can happen. Yat Kripa, with whose grace? Whose grace? Karoti mukam vachalam. Mukam karoti vachalam. With whose grace makes the dumb eloquent. So the grace makes even a dumb person, a person who cannot speak, into an effective speaker, an eloquent speaker. That is Ishvara's grace. Ishvara can do anything. He is Sarva Shaktiman. Mukam vachalam karoti. He will be able to make a dumb person speak eloquently. The other way is also possible. Remember, if we are not, he can also silence a person. One who is being able to speak eloquently, he can also make that person look dumb or make him dumb. So only through Ishvara's grace. Pangum langayate girim. Pangum means a person who is crippled. Langayate, his crosses. Girim means mountain. So the grace is capable of making even a lame person climb mountains. He can climb even an Everest. It is capable of giving him that strength. Aham vande, I salute Paramananda Madhavam. So I salute this Madhava. Madhava means actually Lakshmi Pati or Shri Pati. Ma means Lakshmi Devi. Pati means or Dhava. Madhava. Dhava means consort or husband. So husband of Lakshmi or Lakshmi Pati or Shri Pati. So that is called as Madhava. And what type of this Madhava? Who is this Madhava? Paramanandam. He is the Ananda Swarupa. He is one who is capable of giving Paramanandam. He is himself as Ananda Swarupa, and he is capable of giving us Paramanandam also. So I salute that Bhagavan Krishna, who is the supreme Ananda himself, and with whose grace, Yat Kripa, makes the dumb eloquent and the cripple cross a mountain. This is the 4th Namaskara on Bhagavan Krishna. The last one is the verse number 9. Last verse. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sanga Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidussura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. So here Bhagavan Krishna is worshipped as the Vishnu avatara, Sakshat avatara of Narayana. Tasmai devaya namaha. We can understand that. Prostrations to the Bhagavan. Deva, devaya means Ishvara, God, Bhagavan. And he is not an ordinary Bhagavan. Because first line says, Yam stunvanti. And who is worshipped by? Yam stunvanti means who is worshipped by. Who are the deities who worshipped him? Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta. Yam Brahma, Varuna, Rudra, Indra, Rudra, Marutaha. So all these gods, all these deities, they worship Krishna. And we know Brahma is one of the greatest. Brahma is the creator of this world. And even that Brahma worships that Vishnu, we say. Stunvanti. They all glorify. They sing their glory of Bhagavan. And what kind of, how do they do it? Through what? Divyai stavaihi. Divyai means divine. Divyam, divine. Stavai means stotram, hymns, prayers, sacred prayers, divine stotras, divine hymns, we can say. So they sing the glory of Stunvanti, praise. They praise the Bhagavan through divine hymns. So many devotees glorify Bhagavan. Brahma also comes and glorifies Vishnu. And what about those are the devotees in the heaven? What about the devotees in the earth? They also do it. And how do they do it? Samagah gayanti. Gayanti samagah. Samaga means chanters of Samaveda. Gaha means the one who is chanting. Chanter is called as Gaha. Samaga here represents, although it represents Samaveda, it actually represents all the 4 Vedas here. So people who chant all the 4 Vedas. Sama is specially mentioned because Sama Veda is in musical form. So it's always given a separate respect among all the 4 Vedas. Sama Veda. And therefore all these Vaidikas, they glorify the Bhagavan through Vedaihi. Through the 4 Vedas. And not only Vedas, Anga Pada Kramopanishadaihi. Anga Pada Krama Upanishadaihi. Angas. We know Veda Angas are there. Vedas are got the satellite scriptures we saw. The secondary scriptures. Shad Anga we have seen. 6 Angas of Vedas are there. Chandas, Niruktam. We have seen them in the introduction to Vedanta. So the Shad Angas, through those secondary scriptures also, they worship Bhagavan. And then Padakramam. Padaha and Kramam. Normally the Vedas are chanted. There is a different types of chanting the same Vedas. So because in those days the Vedas were actually, from generation to generation it was passed on, not through written scriptures, right? It was only passed through memory. And because they had to be passed from generation to generation to memory, the same line of Vedas were learnt in different manners, so that people do not forget it or misquote it or mislearn it or teach them wrongly. So they were different types of chanting. One of them was Pada. Padapadaha. So each word is chanted separately. For example, it says Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam. So we say Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam. So each word is taught as a sentence. Partaya separately, Pratibodhitam separately in this. Then there is Krama form of chanting. Krama form of chanting, these are all only done for Vedas, where 2 words are joined. 1, 2, 2, 3, and so on. 1, 2, 2, 1, sorry, 1, 2, 2, 3. So we have Partaya Pratibodhitam, Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam Narayana, Narayanena. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on. This is called as Krama. This is Krama. Then you have Jata. Jata is further difficult. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and so on. It goes there. There is a mathematical notation to that. That is Jata. Then finally you have Ganapat. Ganapatam is difficult. That is 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. There is a mathematical notation which is the most difficult form of chanting. And in generally Veda Pathashalas, people are given only this notation and then they are taught only once, maybe one paragraph of the Vedas to be chanted in this manner. Then the students will have to learn to know how to chant the other ones also automatically. So if they learn one, they will be able to chant others. It's a very difficult form of doing, but that is how they had kept the Vedas in such a way that even after so many generations, the Vedas are properly chanted and properly brought to the next generation without any adulteration. So these are the different types of chanting. So Madhusudana Saraswati says these different type of chanting are used to glorify Ishvara, Bhagavan. And not only that, he further says Yoginaha Yam Pashyanti. So the great jnanis, the great meditators, Pashyanti. Yoginaha means great meditators. Pashyanti, they see Bhagavan. Where do they see Bhagavan? Yam, inside themselves. Inside, in their inner mind, they were able to see this Bhagavan. And how is their mind? The yogina's mind? Manasa tadgatena. Tadgatena. Their mind is concentrated on Bhagavan. Single pointed mind. We say this. Ekagraham, single pointedness. So we perceive the Bhagavan inside. Dhyana avastita. In the state of meditation, this yogina yam pashyanti. In the state of meditation, they are able to see the Bhagavan within themselves. So the yogis perceive this Bhagavan inside. The devotees see the Bhagavan outside. And yashyantam navidus sura asura ganaha. So this Ishvara is described in the scriptures as a person. In the person we see Ishvara, in the scriptures we see Ishvara as a person. See, we have to understand Ishvara is not actually a person. Bhagavan is not an individual, is not a person. Even though Ishvara takes a personal form, for the sake of devotee, the real Ishvara is not a person. Why Ishvara cannot be a person? Because if Ishvara is a person, he will be bounded, he will be limited. There will be spatial limitation, there will be time-wise limitation. But Ishvara we know is limitless. That the same Ishvara who is in Vaikuntha is also in Kailasa, is also here now with us. So that's why we say is yes yantam, yasya antam. Anta means the limit. That limit of that Ishvara, yasya antam. What type of limit? The space limit and the time limit. Na viduhu. Na viduhu means do not know. Who do not know the limit of this Ishvara? None of them know. Not even many people do not know. Here he says Sura Asura Gana. Neither the Suras, which is the Devas, nor the Asuras, nor the Ganas, they know the limit of this Ishvara. Why do they not know the limit of Ishvara? Because Ishvara is limitless. To that all-pervading Ishvara, he is offering, I offer Namaskara. So he ends in that note where he says, remember, although we worship Bhagavan Krishna, all this Krishna form and all those things, ultimately Ishvara is limitless. He is not an individual. We have to understand this. So in this sloka, this Ishvara's Parabrahma Tattva is explained. So he finally concludes with that in the Dhyana slokas. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sanga Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginah Yasyantam Na Vidus Sura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So with that we conclude the Dhyana Slokas introduction, Dhyana Slokas explanation. This Dhyana Sloka act as the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Now from the next class onwards we will start the getting into Gita properly. So with that I'll come to a conclusion. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.